Now, Congolese warlord Bosco Ntaganda pleaded not guilty on Wednesday to crimes including the rape of child soldiers in a campaign of pillage and murder in northeastern Congo's Ituri province in the early 2000s. The Rwandan-born Ntaganda is accused by prosecutors at the International Criminal Court of conspiring to expand the power of the Hema ethnic group and seize the province's vast oil, diamond and gold wealth for himself. He faces 18 charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity, including murder, rape, pillage and persecution. Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda told judges that fighters from Taganda's Union of Congolese Patriots had lured ethnic Lendus occupying the land they wanted to purported peace talks in order to capture and kill them. Now, to help give us some clarity on the situation, Charles Jalloh, Associate Professor of Law at the Florida International University College of Law, joins me live via Skype from Miami. Professor Jalloh, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you, Vincent, for having me.
Yes, now we've mentioned there that this is perhaps a challenge that the ICC is facing to prove that it could prosecute effectively and successfully. What has been the impediment to really conducting these trials as effectively as they wish?
Well, first of all, the prosecutor has struggled in their investigations throughout the involvement of the ICC in the Congo. And you know that we've had a number of indictments of individuals from the Congo. And the first case for the court, the case involving Thomas Lubanga, came from the Congo, including this particular area of the country, Ituri. The prosecutor struggled to conclude that case because they made a lot of mistakes along the way, but they finally secured a conviction in the case of Mr. Lubanga. But their subsequent two cases involving two of the accused from the region suffered in that they were not able to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. So it will be interesting to see what success they're able to have in the case of Mr. Ntaganda.
Now, this court was set up to try cases from across the world. Up to this point, we've only seen successful prosecutions, or at least some prosecutions, from only one region of the DRC, the Ituri region. Why is that the case?
Well, the prosecutor has been aware of these criticisms. In fact, yesterday at the press conference she held in The Hague, she explained the reason why they focused on Ituri. And according to her, when they carried out their investigations after they got the referral from the Congo, they found that the gravest crimes were being committed in that area at the time. So she said that this is why they focused on that region and having all these accused persons from there. But she did make the point also that there's one other accused person who comes from Kivu who is not yet in the custody of the court. And she seems anxious to emphasize that as a way to push the focus away from Ituri, to say that we're looking at what's happening in Kivu as well. And the suggestion is that grave crimes have been committed in those places.
Now, we know that there have been other people charged in that court, including Sudanese President Bashar al-Omar. We also have the son of former president of Libya, Islam. Tell me, how will it ever be possible for these people to be taken to trial if their countries do not cooperate? Can it ever succeed?
Yeah, the court has struggled. What the court needs at this point is support from the African countries that have sent cases. You mentioned Mr. Ntaganda today, who is the focus of the opening of the trial in The Hague. He comes from the Congo. And the reason why he's at the court is not because any country arrested him and turned him over to the court, because he surrendered to the American embassy in Kigali. So the enforcement of the arrest warrants has been very, very challenging for the court. And the other cases you mentioned, the other situations that you mentioned, are in the same vein. Mr. Bashir traveled recently to South Africa. We all know what happened there. They basically helped him to leave the country. In the case of Libya, it doesn't seem as if the central government in Tripoli has custody of Mr. al-Islam, Mr. Gaddafi's, former President Gaddafi's son. So they are not able to turn him over, and in fact have insisted that they want to try him in the country. So the court has faced a lot of challenges, and a lot of them turn on countries not turning over the individuals for which arrest warrants have been issued.
In a few seconds, is there a future really for this court?
There is a future. Maybe at this point it's going through growing pains, but it will be a court of law. We've seen this in other situations. It will be a court of law that will succeed. We have to be patient and continue to support it.
Professor Jalloh, thank you very much.
Well, thank you for having me.
Charles Jalloh is Associate Professor of Law at the Florida International University College of Law in Miami, Florida.